Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the Patriots Touchback Podcast. It is Season 3, Episode 59. It is legal tampering, which basically means we could say it's a really rough start to the NFL season, shall we say. But we have got a big show planned up for you today because we're going to talk about the 4 signings that the New England Patriots have. We have also got a very special guest on who's just popped in. It's Thomas from Ravens Across the Pond and the owner of Across the Pond Sports Network. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. And also tonight, we may have noticed if you saw our Instagram post that we have now got a brand new member. And we're about to introduce him to you now. His name's called Robert from Leeds. Rob, good evening, mate. Welcome to the Patriots Touchback. How are we doing?
I can't hear you guys.
Good start.
That's very good. That's an amazing start.
What's going on?
Best plans laid or ones that come unstuck.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, whilst Rob's dealing with his audio issues, let's bring in our guest, Tom. How are we doing? My friend?
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. Yeah, bit of a mad day yesterday for the Ravens in regards to just absolute outgoings, but a few. I think a lot of them expected. One of them, I'm just really happy that we never paid ridiculous amounts of money for.
Are we all good now?
You didn't fancy paying 25 million for Linderbaum then?
28 or whatever. Whatever. Yeah, absolutely not. But yeah, we'll probably get into that. But yeah, no, good to see you guys.
Yeah, we will get into that. Before we get cracking with the show, guys, please make sure you smash the like button, Gronk spike the subscribe button, tell all your friends, follow us on social media platforms. Make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple. We're on 86 subs now. We're about 14 off getting to 100. We're literally 6 weeks away from the draft. So if we can get to 100 subs by the draft, that'll be absolutely fantastic. But before we get into the free agency situation, I've actually done something for our brand new member, Rob. It's, of course, a little introduction. So for anybody who doesn't know Rob and what made him become a Patriots fan, this is all you need to know. We have some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The Patriots Touchback have done one of their signings, have a brand new signing. Now, as much as we'd like to talk about the Patriots and how they've got on, us, on the other hand, we have got something special for you. We have got a brand new member called Robert, who is joining us. And here to introduce himself, the man himself.
Hi everyone, my name's Rob. I'm 26 years old and I'm super excited to be joining the Patriots Touchback podcast. How long have I supported the Patriots for? I've supported the Patriots for a little over 10 years now. It started when I went skiing in New Hampshire in December 2014, a few weeks before Super Bowl 49. Started watching the games over there, agreed to watch the Super Bowl when we got back. Obviously, we all know how that Super Bowl ended. How could you help but fall in love with the Patriots at that point? And then it's just grown from then. Who's my favourite New England Patriots player? My favourite all-time player is Rob Gronkowski. My favourite player on the current roster is Robert Spillane. What's my favourite Patriots moment or play? My favourite Patriots play is the Jason McCourty pass breakup on Brandon Cooks in Super Bowl 53. I like defense and I thought that play summed up everything about the Patriots. My favourite moment is going to be from the same game, the Gronk catch down at the 1 yard line. I was lucky enough to be in Boston watching that game in a bar, and it absolutely erupted when he made that catch, and then Michelle followed it up with the touchdown. I also got to see the Patriots parade a couple of days later, which was just one of the best experiences of my whole life. What's my go-to drink on game day? My go-to drink on game day is a 0% Guinness. I don't drink alcohol. It tastes exactly the same, but it saves you the headache in the morning. Which team do I despise the most? The team that I despise the most is the Philadelphia Eagles. I still haven't gotten over the loss to them in Super Bowl 52 with Brady thrown for an all-time playoff record 505, Malcolm Butler not playing, and maybe a little bit of pass interference on Gronk on the final play on the Hail Mary at the end of the game. What am I looking forward to most about working with the Patriots touchback team? What I'm looking forward to most is being able to talk some Patriots football with a bunch of people who have an equally unhealthy obsession and passion for the New England Patriots as what I do.
So there we go. That is Rob's little introduction into the Pats touchback. It's interesting to you how you make that one of your favorite plays or one of your best moments was Gronkowski's catch in Super Bowl 53, which, bearing this in mind, is probably the only good play. Maybe the Devin McCourty pass breakup. That was the most boringest and dullest Super Bowl I think anyone's ever watched. I think tequila touchdowns were at a premium in that freaking Super Bowl. If I'm not
if you love defense, that was a great game.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit funny, really, when I thought about my Patriots plays. I think out of my top 3, 4, 5, none of them were actually touchdowns, which, is, not the most exciting of stuff. But, the Gilmore breakup at the end of the AFC Championship against Jacksonville was on there as well. The Hightower strip sack in Super Bowl 51. But, yeah, maybe not many touchdowns, really. So, defensive guy.
Seems like we've got a lot of defensive guys. There's you, there's Nick, and obviously Kieran's a defensive guy as well. It seems like me and DJ the only one that are like offense, but that's besides the point. Anyway, let's get into the show. Legal tampering has started now, so which basically that starts of the new NFL season on the business side of things. And there has been a number of key signings that the Patriots have made, was why we've also got Tom on as well to also dissect a little bit of what the Ravens have or haven't done. But we will get more into that. But let's start off with, there was some breaking news that happened at around about 6 o'clock this evening. Anybody who saw the Instagram post from me would tell you what it was. We did sign a receiver, but it's not the receiver we kind of had in our minds. Romeo Doubs, the former Green Bay Packer. He signed a 4-year deal, $70 million. I still don't know what the breakdown of that is, but I want everyone's thoughts on this. Nick, what did you make? What was your first initial reaction when you saw Patriots are signing Romeo Doubs?
Well, I think I said that the other day that if we weren't going to get Alec Pierce, then my second choice was Rashid Shaheed. That hasn't changed. I would have much preferred to pay bigger money for him. I think we talked about how Doubs is a number 2. Well, we've just got rid of Diggs, who was a number 2. So if you're going to go out and get a number 1 somewhere, i.e. in a trade or in the draft, then okay, what you could look at is you've just traded away a 2 for another 2 that's effectively a lot younger. But we discussed the fact that Matt Collins isn't a spring chicken anymore. So I just think we need a receiver with some experience, because we haven't, aside from Hollins, we haven't got much experience in that wide receiver room. So I think while it's not exactly, blowing the doors off and an amazing signing, you can see the benefit of it. I would like to see the breakdown of that contract, because I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to that 70. So, I think I don't know, that's about 17.5 million a year, something like that.
Give or take, yeah.
So I would bet he's probably only going to get maybe 14, 15 guaranteed per year, if that. So he's probably only going to get maybe 60 maximum guaranteed of that. And if he's paid that over 3 years at 20 a year, you've probably got an out after 3 years. So I think until we see the contract, it's not worth stressing over the amount of money it's been announced for, because we know how the insiders work and how the agents work. So I'm not too stressed about that right now. Yes, I am a little underwhelmed by the name, but I trust that Vrabel's got a plan, and I assume there's a bigger name in the pipeline coming.
Rob, what's your reaction to it?
Yeah, similar to Nick, really. It was a little bit underwhelming, really. I think that given the position that the Patriots found themselves in, you could do a lot worse. I think that we were all looking for a name or a move that we felt would elevate the offense. Obviously, the name AJ Brown had been talked about a lot, and Alec Pierce as well. Those are really the only two guys on the market, and AJ Brown isn't even on the market yet, really. Who I think would have, fit that bill of elevating the offense. Once Pierce went back to Indy, and obviously 29 mil is quite, a rich deal for him to get. You would have been paying over the odds if you were going to entice him to come here. But once he's gone back to Indy, I don't see, many other options that we could have got really excited about. There's a couple of other names, as Nick mentioned, Rashid Shaheed, who are in that second tier down. We saw Michael Pittman get traded to Pittsburgh, another receiver that isn't that clear number one, but still a very capable option. But obviously Pittsburgh have given up draft capital in order to do that. I don't know what, but they've given up something. So I think that Dobbs was a fairly decent option given the circumstances. It would have been risky and it wouldn't have been ideal to go through free agency without adding anybody and then rely on finding somebody in the draft or a trade later down the road for AJ Brown. As nice as that would be, I don't think you could go into the draft banking on getting a receiver, and then that being it with Hollins and Booty. I don't mind Dobbs as a player. He's played at least 13 games in each of his 4 seasons with the Packers. He lines up all over the field. He lines up outside. He lines up inside in the slot. And he's fairly shifty in the first 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. So I can see him being somebody that will pick up some first downs for us. But he's obviously not going to be that number one target that defenses are going to, game plan around. So, yeah, I think it was a little bit underwhelming, but it certainly adds a little bit more depth and reliability to what was looking like a pretty lackluster receiving core.
No, listen, I totally understand where you're coming from there. Yeah, it is underwhelming. It's a little bit lackluster, but there was something which got brought up by Next Gen Stats actually. Romeo Dobbs receiving in 2025. This is absolutely mad, by the way. He had 724 yards, which is a career first. He had 27.6 receiving EPA. That's ranked first by him. Yards and route 1.8, receiving YOE plus 68, and explosive plays 21. All first career rank. So he took that step up. He took that leap up last season. But that is still wide receiver 2 numbers. It's not like if he broke 1,000 yards, you're like, okay, maybe he's a fringe wide receiver 1, but that's probably not the case in this. Tom, what about you as a neutral in this?
I'm a fan of Dobbs as a player. I'm even more of a fan though that the Pats have paid up this money for him to essentially be a wide receiver 2 and replace Diggs. Is it the guy that Patriots fans wanted? I don't think so. But as the guys have said, it is going to be interesting to see what happens now. Obviously, for the rest of the free agency heading in towards the draft, I do imagine the Patriots are going to do something else to bring in a true wide receiver 1.
I think the only way that will happen is if it is going to be AJ Brown. We're looking at a post we're looking at a post June the 1st when everyone is on their holiday breaks.
Just on AJ Brown, because the Ravens were linked heavily with him this off season so far. But I think the move that the Ravens made over the weekend has put to bed any capital that is available to go and get someone like AJ Brown. I don't see shame for the situation I think he would have found himself in at the Ravens would be at the Pats. This is the exact same situation he's coming from Philly, where his usage levels were so low, he ended up becoming an issue. I don't think if he landed at the Ravens or if he lands at the Pats, he is going to be used as a true wide receiver one, and you get the issues that follow AJ Brown everywhere. So do you risk using the capital to go and get him, to then have him upset the apple cart? I just don't know. Personally, I'm happy that the Ravens seem to steer clear from him.
So the problem is with AJ Brown is the fact it's not this year's first round pick they want of us, it's next year's first. Yeah. And that's predominantly because they believe we're also not gonna we're not gonna be as better as what we was last season, which it's not being far-fetched and it's not being negative or anything. That is technically the case with the sixth hardest schedule in the NFL, and considering how many players that we've lost so far to free agency, you could also say that our roster has got, I wouldn't say significantly worse, but it doesn't look as good as what we had in Super Bowl 60. So it just looks like we've got a lot of catching up to do on that side of things. Look, we don't talk down to any new signings, any new players, no matter how bad they are. Let's just see what Romeo Dubes can do. He's potentially we potentially got him with for 4 years, so we'll see what he can do. And you never know, Drake May might be able to unlock something out of him that he didn't have in Green Bay, like a proper quarterback. But that's possible.
Are you concerned by the fact that he's yet to have a 1,000-yard season?
That makes him a wide receiver too. It's just a body in camp at this moment in time. If we trade it, if we got AJ Brown in a trade post June the 1st, then I'm not gonna be like, nah, okay. I see what they tried to do free agency. They got a body in there to get 750 yards, and now they're gonna get AJ Brown in to sort it out. But that might be the case. If not, New England may just completely turn our heads and may end up taking a receiver in the first round of the draft, which gives Nick an aneurysm, but it is what it is. One mention of a certain player that has left, and I'm bitterly disappointed that we've lost him, Nick. Kairos Tonga. The Pats really did fumble this one because they had the contract set to go. And then when they came back, I think it was after the AFC title game, apparently his price went up. And New England didn't want to cough up that sort of money. Now, I'll give you a positive about it. I'll give you a negative. The negative about it was we do now need a nose tackle because we don't have a legitimate nose tackle now on the defensive side of the ball. The positive side of this was it's not like we when he was on the field, he was stuffing up the run. Bearing this in mind, that running game was all solely down to Milton Williams being available. When Milton Williams was on the field, their opposition running game never got going, never went anywhere, unless it was Super Bowl 60 with Kenneth Walker, but it's a completely different story. But when he wasn't on the field, our run defense got absolutely gashed, even with Kairos Tonga and Robert Spillane in there. So it felt like it was just like a body in camp, I would say. He's not like this. He's not like this Pro Bowl type of player. He was just a guy.
Yeah, I can't say that. I think the best way for me to say it would be I'm quite ambivalent to what's gone on. I'm not that bothered that he's left, but I'm not devastated either, because I think the skill set that he had is replaceable. He wasn't an elite player. and I don't mean any disrespect with that statement, but he wasn't going to change the game. He's not that player. You know, you said it yourself when Milton Williams was injured. You know, Tonga didn't step up and change the game. And, you know, we didn't go into games thinking it's all right that we're missing Milton because we've got Tyrese Tonga. You know, it was just like, right, okay. He's a body, and I think we can replace his skill set. I'm not saying he didn't perform well. He did what he needed to do. That's what's obviously got him a contract elsewhere. I don't like the fact that you agree a contract and then 4 weeks later you change your mind and say, actually, I want more money. What's this? Jerry Jones and the Cowboys? Jesus. You know, but I all I'm saying is I think, yes, to see a Patriot walk out the door is a shame, but I'm not exactly crying my eyes out because I think his skill set can be replaced.
Yeah, I think he can be replaced. Corey Durden stepped up massively last season as well. At times when Tonga was either on the bench or when he was out injured, Corey Durden actually stepped up really well. But I'm not thinking that it's, you know, I don't think it's a huge loss for us. Go on, Tom.
Just on the, obviously, with Tonga going, the money that he's obviously signed with the Chiefs, you know, for the nose tackle of his talents and contribution, you know, a great deal for him. He's gone and got paid. He's not going to get that money anywhere else. One thing I'd say is Pats fans, I don't think the Patriots as an organisation needs to be looking outside the organisation here for a possible replacement for him. I don't think they need to be looking at free agency to see where they can go and get a nose tackle. There's a guy there who, rookie year last year, obviously didn't get suited up. I don't think until week 11 with the Jets. Guy called Eric Gregory. Now, it is, you know, obviously last year, rookie year, as I said, you know, injury issues, and then obviously I think he went down again, didn't he, after the wild card game? But you know, he had season high 26 snaps in the final game against the Dolphins of the regular season. I think obviously the concern is there with his injury issues, and it's a small sample size, but he had 136 defensive snaps between the regular season and playoffs. And he displayed the potential. You could see the potential there where he could be a quality contributor. Now, to get that out of a UDFA who coming out of Arkansas, out of the program at Arkansas, and he's capable of holding his own. I think he logged 8 total tackles and 3 hurries during that time. You know, he showed that he could specialize against the run. 2 stops. He got a 68.8 run defense grade per Football Focus. So I don't. If I'm the Pats, if like you guys there, I wouldn't be too worried about where do we find a replacement here for Tonga. I think you've got a guy there if he can get himself fit in the off season. The guy's got paid. Hats off to him, because I wouldn't be giving him £21 million over 3 years.
And he's not worth that money. He isn't worth that money. What is worth the money is our boss has just arrived. DJ, good evening, mate. How are we doing, mate?
No, lads, my bad. Work duties and all that, but yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's no issues whatsoever. We just touched base on the Romeo Doubs signing before we move on to
21 seconds ago.
Doubs, Dobbs, the guy with the do-rag, whichever you want to do. What's your thoughts? Obviously, you're probably you was quite not disgusted, but you wasn't exactly happy on the group chat when that.
I think I mentioned it about on the previous one. His name did come out a couple of times when we were discussing about him, but yeah, I that wasn't one of my top wide receivers that I wanted to acquire. I don't see him as a top wide receiver one. Is that what we've kind of like missed in the last couple of years? And I don't think it's not that I'm not going to say that we're not doing the right things. I just think we don't learn about not getting someone that's top tier. I would have preferred AJ Brown than signing Dobbs, but that's my personal opinion. But look, the guy's stats is I mean, from what I've been hearing and reading, guy seems decent. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to give him a chance and let Vrabel do his thing. Oh, McDaniels.
Yeah, well, McDaniels here. I think you can trust him to do the job. Go Time Dolphins are in the building. Good evening, gentlemen, or good afternoon. I think it's good afternoon in the States. How are you doing, guys? You're good. Was watching Willis's tape today, and he had some great moments of connections with Malik. He's talented. Malik Willis is actually I think Malik Willis is a decent quarterback. Is he going to move the needle as much? Don't know.
Probably not.
Generally don't know. Anyway, let's move on because I'm gonna throw this out there to Tom now. He's very politely come on, so it's only fair he gets this out the way. But I have to. Where is it? So yeah, the floor is yours, mate. Linderbaum. He's gone to the Raiders for an extortionate contract. Unfortunately, you've not been able to. You haven't been able to keep hold of him. So tell us how.
I mean, so obviously it came out. I think we knew from Eric DeCosta came out round about the combine, and he was doing media duties there. And Eric DeCosta did something that he never usually does, and because he usually keeps things in house, but he was very open with it, and he said that we've extended a market setting offer to Tyler Linderbaum. It's since come out that he was offered 4 years, $88 million by the Ravens. It doesn't even come close to what he's getting from the Raiders, and it's mad. I just don't see how the Raiders have got so much cap space. We know that. We know that they're going to need to protect Mendoza next year. But I just don't see how you can justify giving Tyler Linderbaum $28 million APY, $1 million, sorry, APY.
Just goes to show money talks. And this specifically, the signing that they've done, I think they've just thrown out some money, and he's obviously not going to say no to that. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I also think that the precedent was set. Last year when they didn't give him his 50-year option, which I think in regards to where the value and that would have been around about 23.5 million anyway. They weren't going to tag him. The tag was at 27. I think the only thing you'd have to say is when you spend the first round pick on a position that Tyler Linderbaum occupies, to then lose him after 4 years of service in free agency, it is slightly disappointing. But again, what's the nearest to Tyler Linderbaum? Is it $17 million?
That's crazy.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's financially, it just does not make sense at all. Look, fair play to the guy. I'll take my hat off to anybody who goes and gets the bread. Hats off to you, but he's got a job to do there. He's got to protect Fernando Mendoza.
You've also lost your blocking tight end as well, Charlie Kohler as well. Which last week, if you hadn't listened, we talked about any free agent tight ends that we would love to bring in and so on. I basically threw out that name. Goes, he is predominantly a blocking tight end. He does pass catch every now and then, but he's more in the trenches type of tight end. But the fact you've lost him now you're relying, and no Isaiah Likely as well, which is very. It basically means you've got Mark Andrews.
Yeah, again, look, I think obviously the foundations were set in December 2025, and Mark Andrews signed that deal. And he extended him $39 million over 3 years. One thing I will say about that deal is the Ravens can come to the end of this season. I think it's only a $9 million cap hit then on the rest. It's essentially just a rolling 3-year contract the way it's all been outlined. But it set the foundations. From then on, the money was never ever going to be there for Isaiah Likely. it's interesting that he has ended up in New York with John Harbaugh. You know, I think John Harbaugh is trying to sign every available Raven that he has worked with. I wouldn't be surprised if Poe the mascot ended up going up to New York with him.
It wouldn't surprise me if he goes and uses likely exactly how he's used Andrews in Baltimore.
Yeah.
You know, he's literally likely will just become Andrews version 2 at the Giants. And I think, you know, just touching back on the Linderbaum thing, the unfortunate thing is, while there is a franchise tag for the wide receivers, franchise tag for the running backs, and various different positions have their own franchise tags, the centers and the guards are all grouped on the offensive line with the tackles. So your franchise tag is heavily going to be represented by those left tackles. Well, we know that left tackle money doesn't even come close to right tackle money, let alone guard and center money. So your ability, as not just as the Baltimore Ravens, but any team within the NFL, your ability to retain a world class or an elite guard or center becomes so hard on the franchise tag because it is based on left tackle money, and that's why you're not going to get a center and sign it. You're not going to sign a center for that kind of money. And I think maybe the tackles need their own tag, and then the guards and the centers share a tag. I don't know, but I just think you can see the direct correlation where the Ravens have lost out because there isn't a tag that's unique to the center or at least the interior offensive line. But, you know, I agree with what you said about Harbaugh. I think, you know, he's not daft. He's looking in and around what he knows and the players he trusts, because going to the Giants, he needs to get a running start, and the best way to do that is to recruit what you know. So
yeah, I mean, obviously he's, you know, likely signed there 3 years, $40 million. Jordan Stout, punter, 3 years, $12.3 million. You're giving a punter. I mean, the Giants special teams were awful last year, awful. But I just don't see how you're paying a punter $4 million. I mean, we were devastated to lose Jordan Stout. He struggled early on in his career, but, you know, 2024, 2025, you know, he was one of the best at the job that he was doing. But still, I'm not paying $4 million APY for a punt. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
No, you'll probably get someone cheap. You'll probably get someone cheap in the 6th round for.
I remember when Gostkowski went to Belichick and said, "Can I have 1.5 million?" And he went, "Bye." Sent him packing.
We've got plenty of picks in the draft now. We've got another 4 comp picks from yesterday. Ravens now lead the NFL since the Ravens came into the league with the amount of comp picks they've got since the program was introduced in 1994. How many comp picks have the Ravens got, guys? Do you think in that time?
What, since that 1994?
Well, obviously the Ravens came in 96, but since the program, yeah. So 96, go on.
24.
I'd say about 20 something. More.
30 odd.
Fucking a lot.
I mean, the Ravens have always.
I think it's going to be something like between 40 and 45 because the amount of assistance that you go through, Paws, actually. Yeah, I'm going to say between about 40 and 45.
The Ravens have always been a build through the draft team. You know, I think I read somewhere that this trade for Crosby is the first time that you've traded away a number 1 pick in your franchise history. Now, yes, you've traded down and you've traded it for more picks within the draft, but you've never in your franchise history actually traded it away for a player. And I think, you know, that says a huge thing about the direction that the franchise is going to go in. But
yeah, I mean, I mean, not only to just get rid of 1 first-round pick, 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
It's
that's
not exactly
interesting.
for a nobody, though, is it?
No, I look at obviously we were linked with him. The Cowboys were also linked with him. The Cowboys offered up a first and a second. So obviously, it's a guy that the Ravens wanted. I'm a huge fan of Max Crosby. It's a deal that it can be a very, very team friendly if they can kind of work out his contract and that. I think his cap it potentially this year can be around about 7.9, next year 11.4. I think the year after it's 13.7. And then after that, the last year, this year you take the big hit, I think 28, 29 million. So it can be a very team friendly deal in regards to cap space. But obviously the guys 28, 10 and 29. The one thing I will say, and I've always said this about edge, guys coming off the edge, even elite guys coming off the edge, I just don't think they move the needle enough. But with Max Crosby and a Jesse Minter defense, I think the guy's going to do some special things. Total different schemes to what he's been playing at the Raiders. He's going to have more opportunities to get at the quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if Max Crosby puts up a Defensive Player of the Year kind of year this year.
We'll see if he can stay healthy.
We'll see. He was
going to play. He wanted to play the last 2 games last year. The organisation took that from him, hence why he said he's going for the trade. You look at how many games he's played since he's been in the league. The guy doesn't want to come off the field. He is the epitome. I think we spoke about this when I came on last season to talk before, obviously the Pats Ravens game. And I think I mentioned about playing like a Raven, and there is nobody there now that does that. Max Crosby is the guy who can be, the sugs that we have missed. He can be that guy on defense who can play like a Raven. And if I'm Mike Green, I'm looking at this move and thinking, I love this because he's learning from one of the best in the league. The guy's quality is phenomenal. I think there is risk to the deal. The draft picks, this year's draft pick doesn't really concern me. Next year's does, because obviously 27 is going to be a better QB class. So with that, that better position players are going to slide down the board. But we're waiting to see if the Ravens can try and get some capital back for 2027.
So just to add to your complementary picks, the Ravens receive 4 complementary picks in 2026 NFL draft, tying the Eagles and Steelers while extending Baltimore's NFL leading total to 64 since 1994. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's great work. That's good work. Look, you got Max Crosby. I'm a bit gutted we didn't get him, but I kind of feel like we're being bent over a barrel here by Philadelphia regarding the AJ Brown situation, but that's something to talk about for another time. DJ, we'll start with you. Let's talk about our best player that we got who signed a free agency.
Romeo.
No one. Nope.
The fullback.
The fullback. Let's talk about this glorious fullback in the name of Reggie Gilliam. Played for Buffalo. He's ranked 7th in run blocking, ranked 1st in pass protection. There's a reason why James Cook had the most yards from scrimmage last season, and partly because he's a very good back, but also because he had a monster at fullback carving up lanes for him just to run straight through and take it to a house call. This is only going to do one thing and one thing only. This is going to improve New England's run game by a country mile. More importantly, it's going to help Travion Henderson more than ever because he is a home run hitter. He finds the hole. That's it. Bye-bye. See you later.
That's what I think we lacked last year. We did see some glimpses of him when he's open or he's got that open field. That guy's gone. But then in the last part of the season, it didn't really pan out. That's when Stevenson then came in and turned around the game. But like, I think it also helps out. I mean, again, I've not got digged too much into this guy or this player. I thought we had moved away from the fullback position. It's something old school, something that Belichick will probably do if he had a good, decent fullback. You're going to sign him. I think it also helps out May as well, because he can then probably depend a bit more on the run and not having to throw the ball as much as he probably wanted to, or as much as he not wanted to last year. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it all. It could be a training camp guy. If it doesn't work out, then I don't know how much the guaranteed money was, but
he's one of, I mean, I think it's like 12. I think it's like something like, what was it, a 12 million contract? I think it was like 6 of it was guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong.
Again, because we've not lacked in the tight end position as well, it could be more of a blocker as well. We could try and help out Hunter a bit more, because we didn't really get any of those decent tight ends. Although there is one still, that tight end guy that Keegan keeps going on about. He's still a free agent as well, on Kororu, whatever his fucking name is. God knows. But yeah, it could be a decent blocker as well in the field as well. So
he's one of the top three. He's one of the top 3 fullbacks in the NFL. I find it very, very highly unlikely he ain't gonna make it to the 53-man roster unless he goes down with unless he, knock on wood, unless he goes down with a significant injury in training camp or something. But then again, we have
another lad, didn't we?
Brock Lampy. We still got.
So it could be a battle between them two and see how it goes on.
Potentially, but I still think Brock Lampy will end up on the practice squad if anything. Fullbacks don't get picked up that often anyway, so it's usually fullbacks nowadays are a very unknown commodity. Not many teams really use them anymore. Obviously 49ers have got juice. Did the Ravens re-sign Patrick Ricard, or is he still on free agency? You're on mute, Tom.
Apologies, I'm full of cold, so I was sneezing, snotting away. Pat Ricard, he'll do what he's done the last couple of years. Hit free agency, won't sign with anyone, and he'll sign a very team friendly deal. And yeah, he's key to the run game. Pat Ricard, what he can do. I don't think there's a player like him in the league. Just how versatile he is. He'll be back as a Raven next year.
So it's very unknown commodity for fullback. Rob, what was your first initial reaction when it's like we signed a fullback? Like, what's going on?
Very typical of the Patriots. It didn't come as much of a surprise, to be fair. I mean, obviously Westover did a job for us last year, but we used a fullback or 2 tight ends, and either 2 tight ends or a tight end and a fullback on 15% of offensive snaps last year. It was 4th highest in the NFL. And so it didn't really surprise me to add someone that's a reliable piece there. Just looking at it, Gilliam played 332 snaps on special teams as well last year for the Bills, so I can see him being somebody that comes in, contributes on multiple phases of the game. So yeah, I mean, again, it's nothing that's sort of nothing to write home about, but certainly seems like he's been a reliable player in the league for a number of years now, hasn't he? So you know what you're getting out of him. He's going to come in, he's going to do a job. So yeah, typical Patriots.
Yeah, I would say it's typical Patriots signing, but when I first saw it, I thought, we already have a fullback. I didn't think, I wasn't saying Jack Westover either. I was like, why have we signed this guy? And then I looked into him and I was like, oh, right, that's why. And it's not like we signed him, he's one of the best fullbacks in the game. We've stolen him from our rivals in the AFC East. That's anything to take off the Bills is just sweet nectar at this point. Nick, what was your take on it?
I think, as been mentioned, really, we lacked at fullback last year. Westover, he covered the hole as best as he could, but it wasn't a perfect fit. Square peg in a round hole. I think we know we need to improve in this area. We know we need to improve in other areas away from the main sort of luxury picks. So ultimately, I said before, you've got those prime positions that don't come up in free agency very often. Your edge, your wide receiver, and your tackle. So if you have holes elsewhere on your team that you can fill in free agency, then I'm all for that. If you see a fullback that you like, that's not going to cost the world, that you can afford, that's going to move the needle and improve the team, go for it, because it's one less player you need to draft. And again, we have a roster that has been neglected for so many years due to the previous general manager / coach / idiot not being able to draft properly. So you can't turn it around in a single year. So it's baby steps, and just he's a player we needed. It's a position that we needed to improve. I'm good with it.
All good. Tom, I know you got to bounce, mate. Thank you for coming on. Much appreciated. What have you got coming up on the Ravens across the pond? And you've also got a little draw. You've also got a little event that's coming up next month, haven't we?
So Ravens across the pond wise podcast tomorrow 8:30. It was meant to be tonight 9:00, but a couple of guys couldn't make it, so rearranged it tomorrow 8:30. We'll be probably doing the same as you guys, talking everything free agency, discussing the Max Crosby stuff more in depth. So yeah, that as a Ravens standpoint pod, that's what we've got coming up there. In regards to draft night, we've got a huge event that's planned, booked in Hippodrome Casino in the Paddy Power Sportsbook, April 23rd. Doors open 9:00. Tickets are available. The link will be sent out. All is welcome. It's not a Ravens event, it's across the Pond Sports Network event. So obviously you guys have been invited. There's going to be so many things going on there. We have Super Bowl winner Sean Gale there doing a bit of a Q&A, guest speaking, some stories off him. It's gonna be a good night. As I say, there's 5-6 weeks out now from the draft. More stuff will drop on socials. But yeah, it's going to be the place to be. Anybody interested, hit us up on socials at Ravens Across the Pond. And as for saying goodbye, look, thank you for having me on. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.
Catch you on the next one, Tom. Thank you so much.
See you later, guys.
We look forward to it. We look forward to it massively. Thank you very much, mate. Okay. Let's leave our screens back. That's it. Right. Our other signing that we managed to get was actually our first signing, Draymond Jones. It's a thing that Tom's left now because he was a former Raven, so I've let him go now at the wrong time. But anyway, so we signed Draymond Jones, which was our first signing in free agency. Edge rusher. We needed help on the edge. I mean, he's going to be he's a body in camp. He's not going to be your elite pass rusher that we expect you to be. Nick, what was your thoughts on the signing of Draymond Jones? Considering we've seen him already, he already sacked Drake May once, so we already know what he's capable of.
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't know whether Chason is coming back or not. Regardless of whether we get an edge in the draft, which I hope we do, I kind of think we needed two. So the fact that we've picked one up in free agency is good. I think really he hasn't made the position depth any worse. So I certainly wasn't upset about it. Could we have done better? Possibly. But I think if you'd looked at a higher quality player, you'd have probably ended up paying more money, and that obviously affects how many players you can bring in, and what you're paying them. So I think it was probably one of those where in the Venn diagram, the money meets the skill of the player, and he was the guy that was on the line. So I think he does bring an improvement to the position, but I hope that he's not going to be the guy we're all pinning our hats on for the whole year.
No, hopefully that's not the case. Rob, what did you make of Draymond Jones?
Yeah, don't mind it as a signing. To be fair, I immediately went and watched some tape of him, and I was surprised at how quick he looks. To be honest with you, he's listed as being 280 pounds, which is heavier than Myles Garrett, but he doesn't look like it when you watch him on tape. He lines up all the way along the line of scrimmage, plays inside, outside. I don't know why, but I'd always thought of him more as like a 3-4 end. But he lines up on the outside and rushes from out wide a little bit more than what I thought. But 7 sacks last year, 7 tackles for loss as well. He's somebody that can set the edge in the run game. Yeah, he's not going to, be commanding double teams and taking a load of attention. But, if it depends on the health of the rest of the guys. I mean, it was few and far between in terms of games where we had Landry, Barmore, and Williams all healthy at the same time. If you can get an extended period of time where those guys are all there, then I don't think you need, someone like a Trey Hendrickson, sorry, Trey Hendrickson. As much of a nice luxury as that would be, sort of pass rush by committee, I think is pretty doable. Barmore and Williams can crush the pocket from the inside, and then if you have a nice rotation of guys, if for example you bring Chasen back or you add somebody in the draft, then Landry, Jones, and a third, and then you've got Durden as well. You've got a number of guys there that can come in and play some real snaps for you. But I think that. I think we'll probably see more of an impact in the run game, and it's nice just to have that, an extra rotational piece that you can come in and trust to set the edge and is not going to get beaten on the outside. Landry, kind of is more of a third down specialist, in terms of rushing the passer. So I think that adding Jones gives you a little bit more. A little bit of a more solid option on first and second down against the run. It's not a crazy contract. He's played 7 years in the NFL. He's experienced. So I'm hoping that he can come in and be a sort of a good locker room guy as well. But I think he certainly adds, some worthwhile traits on the field, even if it's not, a huge name like Hendrickson.
Yep, agreed. DJ?
Yeah, just similar to what you guys have basically said. I mean, when I saw the announcement, it wasn't like, oh, wow. It was just like a available type of guy. I don't know if he had any relationship with him when he was at the Titans that year, because he was in the Titans, wasn't he, before coming to the Ravens, or am I not? What was that? I just invented that out of my ass. Anyway, but yeah, he's just I do think we should be looking at re-signing Chase on. I think that that is a must. I still think we still miss that extra edge person, and I wouldn't put it out there either. I mean, it does alleviate the case of us not going first round edge. I don't know. I don't know if that's depends who falls on the board. If there's a top edge there, I think. Would you still take him, Nick? Do you still, now that we've got Jones, is that an option to still possibly take one of those top edge? If say we re-sign Chase on,
I think if we re-sign Chase on, no, I don't think we need one. I don't think we need a first round edge.
How deep is the edge though? In like second, third, maybe.
Yeah, you've got some edges at the end of the second that are an option. I think, as we said with Dobbs, you've got to hope that there's a plan in place. Now, if you're asking me, would I rather sign one of those top 5 elite wide receivers out of the draft or AJ Brown, I'd take one of those guys out of the draft. So maybe wide receiver jumps to the top of the draft list. But the fact that we picked up Tucker today, that means that's an experienced guard that we wanted. So that solved one problem. So I think, we've got multiple paths in the draft that we can take, and I think it'll be, you've got to just see how it goes and how it plays out, and you're going to have your first choice, your second choice, and go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. We're still waiting for more signings on free agency. One signing we forgot to mention. Elijah Vera Tucker, a left guard we've been screaming out for. Okay. I think there was other names out there which we kind of wanted. I know Kieran obviously mentioned Elijah Vera Tucker quite a few times, to be fair. The Patriots are obviously gambling on him due to his age. He's 26 years of age. When he's fit and healthy, he is a Pro Bowl guard. He has had a bit of an injury history. He's torn both of his triceps, but they're now fully healed now. So the chance of him tearing his triceps again is very, very low. He has popped his Achilles once. That's a bit of a concern. But I think if we could get him on the right plan and keep him healthy, and that would be the biggest question. We keep him healthy.
Yeah.
You've got an experienced left guard there who can play predominantly in that position, and only that can give Will Campbell the help he needs. Because Jared Wilson was alone on an island with him last season.
Do you think we move Wilson to centre now? Do you think he's established himself as a starter to be a centre?
100% we're moving him to the centre. You don't do that, and you don't do that if you don't trade Garrett Bradbury. That's my only reason.
Yeah.
Ben Brown's a backup. He could play left guard and centre. So there's your backup for Jared Wilson at that point as well.
I'm just thinking if Wilson's not the man.
Yeah, I think it made sense to. Oh, sorry, I can't do Joe. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say that if Wilson, for some reason, Vabel thinks that he's not the right fit or right personnel to be a starter in this offensive line, is there anyone that's decent enough to go at 31 as centre? Do you think Vabel will be? Is there anyone that's on draft boards that's centre?
No, I think if you're gonna, yes, I would like to see us take a guard in the draft for depth. But you don't need to take one till round 5. There's plenty of good guards way down in the draft. You don't even need to worry about guard till day 3.
I think we was pretty high on that Edwards guy. I've seen a lot of rumours flying around that I think we tried to go for Edwards. Where did he end up? Bills? No,
he came from the Bills.
Bears, I think he went to go to the Bears.
Hang on.
I thought he was. I'd seen a couple of people saying, like reporters and that, saying that Edwards was probably high on our FA list.
Edwards went to the Saints for 15 million a year.
That's not bad.
That's more than I would have paid for him. Because I said this the other day. We're paying 17 million for Big Mike a year. I don't like that either. We need to redo his deal because that's all pro level, and we are not getting all pro performance from Big Mike. So we need to
just take Tucker 14.
Sort his cap out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think. Oh yeah, Mike. Yeah.
But no, I like the signing of Tucker. It makes the offensive line look that little bit better now. So We still need to get out drafting the replacement for Morgan Moses as well. Because obviously Moses is 35 now. He ain't getting any younger. So I think drafting a right tackle to probably sit behind him, learn from him and so on, and then bring him in for next year, because Morgan Moses' cap hit goes up next year. There's a good chance we'll probably cut him next year.
Well, we've got Caden Wallace and Mumford.
Mumford is still on free agency. Okay. I think Mumford re-signs with us.
I thought he did.
Caden Wallace was signed as a tackle, realised he can't play tackle at the top. So now we've moved him to guard, but he's not a good enough guard either. So I think while you keep him while he's on a low salary, but as soon as his 4th year's up at the end of next year, bye-bye. See you later.
Yeah, we're gone.
To be fair, have we missed a mistake? Should we have gone back and gone another year with Strange? He was available. We could have gone Cole Strange again.
Should have just kept Lowe.
No, he was.
Why are we letting Lowe go? Fuck's sake!
Oh no! This is...
I'm quite happy that he's gone.
Oh, sure.
Listen, there's better tackles out there than Vidarian Lowe. with all due respect,
you would say that.
Yeah.
I could stick you in at left tackle, and you'll be better than Vidarian Lowe.
That's very true. That's very true. I'd play for a lot less as well. Manchester Titans, rock on.
Okay. Moving away from everything that's happened in free agency, I just want to give all three of you an opportunity. I want you to choose 3 teams. Well, it's only we're only in day 2 of free agency, even though the NFL season doesn't start till tomorrow. But you get what I mean. Name me a team that had a fantastic start to free agency, and the signings that they made thought, they really have caused an issue here. And name me a team that has stunk the joint out, depending what it is, depending who they are, what they signed, or if they haven't signed anybody at all. We'll start with the new guys first. Rob, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Team that I think has made some good signs have probably been New Orleans. You've got a young quarterback in Tyler Shook. We just mentioned David Edwards' name who's going to come in and give him a bit more protection on the offensive line. I think as we saw towards the end of last year, probably the kindest thing you can do for a young quarterback is buying time in the pocket. And so I think they've prioritised that. And then the signing of Travis Etienne as well at the running back position. Again, if you want to help out a young quarterback, then what do you want to do? You want to give them a run game, and Travis Etienne can do that. He's experienced, and he's a great pass catcher as well out of the backfield. So, he's going to provide an option for Shook on checkdowns. If that pressure does give up or the protection gives up, then it gives him an option there. So I don't think the Saints are going to be competing for a championship this year, but in terms of putting pieces around a young quarterback, I don't think they've made some bad moves there. A team that I think has stunk it up, I'm going to go the same division, and I'll go with the Carolina Panthers for giving Jalen Phillips $120 million. It's more than twice the price of what we're giving Draymond Jones. And if you offer me either of those options, then I'll take the cheaper, more sensible option every time. I don't think, he's been that great, to be honest with you. I think he was a little bit underwhelming on the Miami Dolphins. The Eagles traded for him, hoping that he would be a piece that would push them over the edge, and made very little difference to their chance in the postseason. And then obviously, they've added pieces like, Devin Lloyd and that kind of thing. But, I just think that giving out $120 million, 80 guaranteed as well for an injury-prone player that hasn't contributed too much, I think is there's going to be a bit of buyer's remorse there. So, yeah, certainly prefer what the Saints have done over the Panthers in that division.
Okay. DJ, what about you?
I'm going to go with I think the Chiefs have made some.
Oh, you bugger!
I really think they've made some. I mean, they've re-signed Thornton, which he seems to be connecting well with Mahomes in those long passes, and then obviously they've re-signed Kelsey, Tonga. I think they're getting someone special there, and I think Kenneth Walker. That's the key player there. He's a Super Bowl winner, decent amount of contract. And I think they've just traded. I don't know if they've traded or released him, but someone signed Pacheco. So I don't know if they've to the Lions. I don't know if that was a free agent signing but I'm pretty sure I saw that the
Pacheco to the Lions.
Yeah, they've signed him. I think it was a trade.
Partnering him up with freaking Jameer Gibbs. That's a dangerous combination. I don't like that.
Yeah, because they let Leonard Montgomery go, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. As much as it pains me, yeah, the Chiefs have done well in free agency.
Yeah,
Brett Veach is just a mastermind as a GM. He just knows what pieces the Chiefs need.
Yeah, and then my worst team. I think I'm going to say the Falcons because I don't know what the fuck they're doing in terms of like Penix, Tua. I mean, you've just wasted a pick if you're not choosing Penix as your starter next year. Okay, he's got injury issues. They just seem to be all over the shop lately. I just don't. Hooper, old, wasted. Jake Bailey, another one. They're just not Nick Folk. It's just a bunch of veterans, old man's homes. So yeah.
Why have one average left-handed throwing quarterback when you can have two average left-hand throwing quarterbacks? That's all I'm going to say on that one.
I would have gone for like Kyle Murray or something like that. That would have been if you're not to go. I don't know.
I don't think the reason why I think why Tua has gone to Atlanta because obviously both Tua and Michael Penix are both left-handed, so they're kind of similar to how the offense runs. But at some point, you get Oh, what the?
But
hello. All right, can you see us?
I can see you. Can you see me though?
No,
let's wrap up then. I'll see you later. Have a good end of the week. See you later. Bye.
What's going on? Why is everyone crashing in so late?
I just got home from work and I noticed you guys were still on, so I thought I'd pop me head in and see what's been discussed.
I can't really go backwards. I'm going to go backwards and forwards here because we've gone through most of it now. Anyway. All right, quick 5 minutes on you, Romeo Dubs.
What, you want my take on the signings? Yeah,
you got 5 minutes to do Romeo Dubs, Draymond Jones.
Yeah,
the fullback.
I love a good fullback. Right, Romeo Dubs. I don't necessarily mind it. The contract is a touch high, but I think in terms of the way the market has gone with the lack of receiver depth at the position, it's probably about right for him. I don't necessarily think he's a bad player. I'm just more concerned about the fit. And as I said before on our free agency preview, that I just think stylistically he's too similar to Kayshon Boutte. And do you really want two of those guys? I'm not 100% sure. And I still think there is a glaring need now for a slot specialist. Now, if you tell me that someone like KC Concepcion or Omar Cooper Jr. comes in at number 31 and you plug them in the slot and you have Boutte and Diggs on the outside with not Boutte and Diggs, sorry, Boutte and Dubs on the outside, and then you have Hollins and Williams factoring in, then I don't think that's too bad. But I still think we would need to address that slot position. So we'll see how it goes with Dubs. He's still 25, so there is some upside there. And he's going to be playing with a much better quarterback because Jordan Love's overrated. Draymond Jones, I think he's just solid. He's had a good career. He's been a consistent disruptor that's put up, pretty standard, solid numbers over the last few years. Probably fits the scheme quite well. And as a veteran edge rusher, not a bad deal. I'd like to see Chason come back. I think if you look at what Vrabel's done historically, he likes to have like a bigger edge opposite a faster edge. So maybe having Chase on the opposite side of Draymond Jones, or someone in the same ilk as Chase on opposite Draymond Jones might be the plan going forward. So yeah, I liked that one. I think that was a good value for 3 years, 13 million per year. Reggie Gilliam, I think, is an excellent fullback, one of the best in the NFL, and that's something that we've been crying out for. Now, as you said in the group chat, Carl, the talk that we were said about Brock Lampy, but perhaps being the guy who's going to take over from Westover this year, that discussion lasted a day because Reggie Gilliam's come in, and the most happy person on the roster right now is Travion Henderson, because if Reggie Gilliam can blow open the kind of holes that James Cook was getting at times last year, then we have a running back who's going to be able to exploit that. So I think that was a really shrewd pickup, and he'll make a big impact in our running game. And then finally, Elijah Vera Tucker, who we spoke about the other night, and I think you definitely have to understand the risks there with the injury history he's had. But at 26 years old, former first round pick, and someone who's looked very good whenever he has played, I definitely think it's a risk worth taking. I would have preferred someone a little bit more like in the mold of Isaac Soimalo, someone a little bit older who is a bit more durable and dependable. But if you can keep Vera Tucker fit, you've potentially got your left guard for the next 5 years. So, and it brings down the average age of the line too. So if you can get a right tackle, as I put in the chat earlier, with the ages of our offensive line, we could have a lot of consistency going forward with the same group if they stay healthy. So I like the signing. I think the way they've weighted the contract from what we're reading is very much incentive based. I think he's got a $250,000 active game day bonus, so that that's quite substantial. So yeah, providing he can stay healthy, I think he's a tremendous signing, and we've got good value in it. So there we go. That's my roundup. Have I said anything that's already been said?
Everything.
Yeah, you said everything, and on that note, you can now sit in the green room until we finish. Bye bye. Only kidding, mate. Only kidding.
Hello.
Hello.
I can't hear you guys for some reason.
I forgot to say it. The second with audio issues today. Never mind. Nick, your chance now. Who is your winner? Who is your winning team in free agency? And who is your losing team in free agency?
Well, after DJ terribly nicked my pick, how dare he? I've had to think on my feet and quick deke and duck. Right. So team that's done well for me, I'm gonna say, is the Giants. They've managed to retain Hodgkins. They've managed to retain McFadden. They've managed to retain Illuminor while bringing in, as we discussed earlier, they've brought in Likely, they brought in Stout, and they've brought in Washington, all from the Ravens. They've managed to pick up Greg Newsome from the Jags and Tremont Edmonds from Chicago. So I did have the Chiefs down as the team that I thought was the best, but I'll use New York as a second choice. As for a team that's done the worst, I'm just going to say Baltimore based on the sheer amount of quality that they've lost. Lindenbaum, Likely, Jones to us, Gilman, Kolar, Stout, Washington, Hummel. So they have lost a lot of quality, and it's a good job they've got all those picks in the draft because they need a lot. So I think, for me, my first choice was Chiefs. I'll move to the Giants, but for a team that's not done great based on who they've lost, I'd pick the Ravens.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to choose a winner for. It's anybody that's really stood out for me, I'm gonna have to go with I will probably have to side with you. I have to go with the Giants here because the signings that they did actually make were actually, they're not like they blew up in your face type of acquisitions. They were quite sensible, but they were very calculated ones. And I think I maintain this. This might be an extreme hot take here, but the Giants are going to be the most improved team in the NFL this season. I can probably say that. And my loser, I could go with the Cowboys because please make sense of this. They traded Micah Parsons to the Packers, and the Packers then traded Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. So they basically traded away their number one pass rusher just to get the Packers' second best pass rusher. Okay, make that make sense for fuck's sake, Jerry. But that's not my loser. My loser is Cleveland. All they did was sign Zion Johnson at left guard. Is that really all you're going to do to help Shedeur Sanders, your golden child, out?
They just signed someone now.
Oh, okay. Anybody
a center? I don't know, a center, but I didn't see the name.
Okay, I need to have a look at this now. Then I might get this one.
Center.
No, I typically it's either Cleveland or Tennessee. Tennessee haven't exactly done anything drastic either. They've been, they've been a bit woeful so far, but yeah. Look, free agency is still ongoing. Any more news that? Oh, I've just seen that in the private chat, Nick. Sorry. It's all right. I thought you were just reciting to dodgeball, and I just
no. I know you were, and as soon as I saw you and I realized that. But no, I was going with Deacon Duck because I watched the Mighty Ducks with Hannah on Sunday. I was like, because I said to Hannah, I said, "Have you watched the Mighty Ducks?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, get off the iPad. We'll watch the Mighty Ducks." I don't think she paid attention. I think she probably watched about 10 minutes. I watched the Mighty Ducks, basically. I basically watched the Mighty Ducks. So, yeah, that's why I said Deacon Duck, because I had the Mighty Ducks on my head.
Just to let you know,
yes, already, I get the dodgeball reference.
Just to let you know, my little one was watching the Winter Olympics, watching the hockey Winter Olympics. Absolutely glued to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely glued to it. So I'm taking it. So it looks like I've got to take him to my nearest ice rink, which is half an hour away from me, for a game.
The Basingstoke. Is it the Basingstoke
Bisons?
No,
the Basingstoke Bisons.
Yeah, they are the Bisons. Yeah,
they are the Bisons. Yeah. I've got the hat actually. It's downstairs. But anyway, Kieran, have you got your audio sorted now?
Well, I think so. I think it's very patchy, but I'll try my best.
Okay, best team that's done well in free agency and one of the worst teams that done in free agency.
Best team in free agency, I think what the Raiders have done have been really impressive. So I'm probably going to go with them. I think pretty much everyone they've signed has been pretty good, and I like what they're doing in terms of really trying to rebuild the offensive line. And get prepared for when Fernando Mendoza comes in. So I'll probably go with them. That seems quite chalky, but yeah, that's probably where I'd go. Worst team, Green Bay. Like Green Bay just look like a state at the moment. You think about the amount of players Green Bay have lost. They've traded Rashawn Gary, lost Quay Walker, lost Nate Hobbs today, been released. Elton Jenkins is now a Cleveland Brown. They've lost Rasheed Walker. Romeo Doubs has obviously come to us. Like that roster has just suddenly been absolutely decimated, and they lost their DC in Jeff Hafley. And I do think that Gannon was a good replacement for them, but they look like they've got a mountain to climb just to get back to where they were last year. The amount of talent that roster has lost, I think they're going to struggle next year. They're in an incredibly tough division. And if Minnesota have functional quarterback play, they are a way better team than Green Bay. So for me, I think the Packers have had a stinker.
Yeah, the Packers haven't done particularly that great. but they always seem to do pretty damn well in the draft as well. So that's a team just to keep an eye out on this one. Okay. I think we'll call it time on this one, guys. Hour and 20 minutes. I think we will call it time. Look, free agency is still going to be ongoing throughout the week. If we get any news, any big breaking news of a certain player that's coming our way, we will try and get it to you as soon as we can, whether it's by social media or on YouTube. But we are going to get on out of here. DJ, Nick, Kieran, who dropped in extremely late, and of course our new guy Rob. I hope we haven't put you on the spot for too much on this show, mate.
It's not this stressful every episode, honest.
It's not this stressful. It's just what happens when I've got too many people on screen. It gets really, really gnarly at times. And also a big thank you to Tom as well from Ravens Across the Pond, not from the Across the Pond Sports Network, beg your pardon, for coming on to talk about Linda Bomb. I didn't play the sad violin meme in the background whilst he was talking, but anyway, it's what it is. Anyway, we're going to get on out of here, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Smash that like button on the way out. Gronk spike the subscribe button. Tell all your friends. Follow us on social media platforms. And make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple as well. We probably will be back at the same time next week, next Tuesday, or we might be doing another show at sometime during the week. I think we'll discuss it further. But for now, we're going out of here. Thank you to everyone on panel. Rob, welcome to the Touchback, my friend. Strap in. You're in for a ride.
Can't wait.
And with that being said, good night. God bless. Go Patriots.